Uncle Chunty.
Oh yes, Uncle Chunt indeed. We are back for episode 29 of this silly show that I'm doing week to week as we go. Last week there wasn't one because it was Valentine's Day. I didn't think anyone would give a shit if I put one out or not, because plenty of other people were putting out on that day. Plenty. So I just said, bugger, I'm not going to do anything. And I couldn't even last the whole 20 seconds without swearing. So the algorithm's going to hate me already, but I don't really care. Anyway, as always, I'm your host, Uncle Chunt, talking head from down under, budding comic book creator, if that'll ever happen, and man in the middle. Before you begin, consider joining the Chunk Corps, as you can see in the social links as we go today on screen, and subscribing and all that good stuff. Speaking of which, I just had a look. It's 650 subscribers now. Now, I've been stuck under that for so long, but I expect that to drop any second now, so I'm not going to get too overly excited about it, but I mean, that's pretty cool. I've gotten a fair amount of subscribers this year, or the last 3 or 4 months, however long it is, randomly. So that's good. Hopefully that continues this year. Progress is progress all the same. So thank you for all the new people that have turned up and enjoying the content. So yeah, I keep stroking my beard. I was meant to go to a barber shop yesterday for the first time since I've grown this beard, and they cancelled their appointment on me at like 5 a.m. yesterday, which is so random. I got a text message going, "Hey, I need to take the day off. Can we rebook?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, no worries. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, and this beard is just going to keep growing anyway. So if it looks a bit, misshapen and disheveled, that is why. It needs a good kind of TLC. It's gotten to the point where I'm happy with it, and I want someone to kind of shape it, and we can go forward from there. So it's good. Looking forward to that. Anywho, straight up, I'm going to put the Ask Chunk question at the start of the video, just because I want people who are submitting these questions, to see it straight up and not have to wait through like half an hour to 45 minutes of me waffling on just so they can see their name on the screen. So we're going to do it now. Straight away. Bam. So Ask Chunt, little question from Sin Spacies, but I think this is more of a loaded one. My answer is going to be so obvious. So Ask Chunt, what's the most disappointed you've been at a game on release? From Sin Spacies. Brian, it's going to have, there's so many disappointments that I've had. Not just in gaming, but the one that's in most recent memory that's ingrained itself is unfortunately Avengers. Is that an easy dig? Yes, but it's a warranted one because I had my doubts going into that game, but I was willing to be pleasantly surprised. I played the beta of it, and I think I should have known at that point, but I was still optimistic. I should have known at that point as to how this was going to go. But yeah, I played it on PC. Maybe that was my first mistake. I mean, I do have a gaming capable PC, but it's definitely not anywhere near capable of running it at its best. So I don't know. It is what it is. The story mode has some highlights. Not going to lie about that. It does have some moments, particularly at the start of the game with A-Day. That whole festival definitely had some feels moments. I remember myself even like getting a bit like, like I felt some of that, particularly with Thor and Captain America. Those moments, I was like, yeah, I felt that being Kamala. Like I felt that, the excitement and just the thing of everything. I don't know if it's just because, we've lived through 50 years worth of movies, and you're just familiar with these characters, and they do sound like they're trying to be the actors like in the films. Like they've got voice actors that are trying to do those actors likenesses, but it was a good moment, and a lot of it's filled with crap too. Like a lot of the story content after that first introductory level, just after you meet the Hulk and then the game opens up. When it opens up, it gets boring as piss. And you start bouncing through different characters throughout the campaign and learning them individually. And there's a few spectacle moments sprinkled throughout, and then it just ends, not with a triumph, but a whimper, like it's, as a fan of comic books, and, I'm not like a Marvel fan, but I appreciate some of the characters there. And the Avengers roster has all the ones that you really need to care about, for the most part. and I did appreciate my time with it. And as a fan of comic books, I appreciated what it was and what the game was trying to do. But I hate the games as a service model. I do not like it. You know, and I've got on record several times, not only here, but over at the Let's Talk Games podcast, which there'll be an episode uploading today as well. Plug. There's a link below in the description if you want to check that out. There's me, Jamie, and Dan, so you'll get two other perspectives, not just mine. And it's always a good time. So I recommend you going over there. Yeah, so and they played it as well. So we didn't really play together because once we all got through the story campaign, we're just like, nah, like we don't really care about it. Cool. I think Jamie played through some of the multiplayer to level up just to see what it's all about. And he has his own thoughts. We did an episode on it. Go find it. But yeah, as for me, it's not my cup of tea. Now, being an absolute massive hypocrite, did I just buy the game on sale just recently? Yes, on Xbox Series X, because there's a next gen patch coming out finally, like sometime this year, and there's the new story content. It's all free. You know, Black Panther's coming out at some point. Their content for that. Xbox isn't going to get the Spider-Man stuff, which is wholesale why I refuse to support the game. I didn't buy the game on PC. Jamie was kind enough to get us a code for that, and much respect, and I'm sorry how that turned out. But yeah, otherwise, look, I refuse to pay full price. I think that's where I stopped at. I hung out for so long for a good sale. I thought when they didn't make their money back on the game, like they were like $60 million in the hole or something, and they didn't make their production budget back, I thought that would put it out on sale for like, $15 or something, or $20, and then I would pick it up. The game's been out for what, I don't know, 6 months ish, I think, and it's not really a success. Like, obviously these games have to have legs, and they have to stretch themselves out further down the road. Plenty of content promised, but Anthem is another example of a lot of promises were made there too, and we know how all that turned out, and that's on its last legs. Like literally a couple of weeks ago, EA's like, yeah, we're thinking about making the decision on whether we cut the cord or keep going. Mind you, it doesn't have the Avengers name. This game should have been a license to print money. Really, I do not understand how they fucked this up. It's just incredible. You handed like an opportunity literally on a silver platter, and you just stuffed it right up. But look, I'm keen to go through it again, as long as, mainly for the campaign. I want to get a second test at it, just on like my console of choice, on a better screen. I need to buy a new TV, and just have it to myself without PC problems, because it would crash on my PC a few times, and just a lot of graphical errors and stages not loading correctly, and it kind of pulled me out of the experience, where consoles for the most part have a more stable experience. So I'll give it another shot. Marvel has done a lot of good for the world, just as far as bringing joy to it. Like I don't like a lot of the movies, but I appreciate what it's done for people. Particularly last year, we've all got these movies to kind of escape into, and that's what comic books are great, man. Like, they're just monthly stories. You can escape into it, I don't know, project yourself onto certain characters you relate to, all this kind of stuff, and just lose yourself. Not just DC and Marvel, but I got Power Rangers comics over there, man. And a couple Transformers ones, and it's just take your pick. You find your poison and just delve right into it. So I want to like personally give it a second go. I want it to succeed. I want a comic book game that's good. Like I want more comic book games. A lot of the games on my shelf back there are from like the 7th or 6th generation of consoles, and they had a lot of comic book games around that time, like the original Xbox and the 360 era. So I've longed for more of that. So I'm going to give this game another go, and we'll see how we go from there. And Black Panther is going to make it or break it for me. Really, I really enjoyed the Black Panther film, and since then I've kind of been a bit of a pseudo Neo fan of Black Panther. He's just such a cool character, I've only really experienced him through the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. That's about it. But even then I was like, oh, he's pretty cool and all that. He's a king and shit. So we'll see how this game goes when it comes out, and all the new story content and everything comes out. Anyway, I mean, that's just the first 10 minutes of this. of this show today, and it's just Avengers. See, I thought this would be a quick question just to be one and done, get it out of the way, but no, it's not. Next. Next I want to talk about Mario 3D World. Okay, this is a photo, my photo that I took. As you do when you get something new, you take a photo of it and you want to share it to everybody. So I just grabbed this from my Instagram, and yes, that is a Windows notifications. I need to turn those off. Fucking Windows, man, I tell you. Yes, that is a Razer Kishi off to the side there. I do play remotely on my Xbox sometimes when I'm in here working on stuff, and the Switch as well. I bring it in here, and this game, I've been longing for this game for a long time. I just said that, long. And it's finally come out on a platform that I have, Nintendo Switch. So what do I think of it? It's been out for a week now. I'm not going to be spoiling anything, not like there's much to spoil in a Mario game, but I figured I'd introduce it this week because it's had enough time for people that have played it or picked it up, just to get their own impression. So this will be like a pseudo rambling review on this game. All right. Yes, I picked up the amiibos. Yes, they're still on their case because for some stupid reason, I'm a 35-year-old man and I needed the Cat Mario and Cat Peach amiibos to go with this game. And it was a surprise it came with a steelbook, which I was stoked about. Love steelbooks. So I was happy to pick that up and whatever. So I don't know if I'm going to use those amiibos or take them out of the thing, but ever since the Wii U was out and this game came out on that console, and I saw the Cat Mario suits and everything, I was like, God, I need this game. I need it. And I finally have it. So what do I think of it? It's the slice of life that I've needed lately. Just to put it straight out like that. It's everything in a Mario game that I've wanted for a long time. And for context on that, the 3DS game equivalent for this that came out at the same time, Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS, I played the absolute hell out of that. I nearly 100%ed that game. I got all the coins and stars and whatever that you need to get for it. Really, really enjoyed it. And it's just because every level is its own slice of an experience or a puzzle or a little adventure that you need to go through. Not overly long, 3 minutes long, 5 minutes. 5 minutes is probably a stretch at that. But it's just enough that you can play a few levels and go, that was fun. Or replay some when you miss a star or something. And you can just put it down and go, oh, that was cool. I got my Mario fix, Whereas my issue with Mario Odyssey, as amazing as that game was, and I 100% of that game, that's why I was getting all the moons and costumes, I didn't quite enjoy the big expansive playgrounds or sandboxes, whatever you want to call them. Every world that you went to was just a big kind of sandbox that you had to run around and find things on. I get the appeal, and I mean I played the hell out of it, so I did enjoy it, but this is the Mario that I want. It takes me way back to Mario 3 or Mario World on the Super Nintendo, just like that. That's the experience I want. Weird kind of colorful worlds and overworld, short kind of platforming levels, and each one had a little gimmick in it. Mario Odyssey for the other side, and maybe to a lesser extent Sunshine, and I wouldn't count Odyssey. It's Odyssey, Galaxy 1 and 2. I like those more than Odyssey because they're more of the same that I'm talking about. They're their own kind of little slice experience. Each little planet globe thing is its planetoid experience thing. I really like that a lot more than just a big sandbox to play in. But I think I'm taking that on from all these massive open world games that are out these days. I just can't be bothered. I jump into a world and it's just like, where do I start? And it's just a bit daunting. I just don't have the mental capacity to put up with it these days. I'm just mentally exhausted after work every day, and it's annoying. I wish I could just play those games hours on end. I really do. I've still got Valhalla out there that I haven't touched yet because it's just a daunting prospect. But I want to clear myself with some space. But this Mario game has been quite the palate cleanser. So I recommend anyone, if you're on the fence, let's face it, if you have a Switch, you play Mario games, right? I don't understand or know anyone that would buy a Nintendo Switch and wouldn't buy Mario games for it. It's pretty much all I do. I've bought 3 Switches now because I keep selling them, and now there's more and more Mario games coming out, from the Wii U era or older, like the All-Stars 3D All Stars thing, which I love that. And I'm just going to be like, well, it's going to get all the Mario games for this. It's going to have a pretty awesome library on it. And this is the standout. Like, I can easily say, even without finishing this game yet, this is probably my favorite Mario game. You know, and I'm only up to World 3. Just about to finish it. I'm up to the castle on World 3. And I have to say, this is probably my most favorite Mario game I've ever played. So, very happy with this purchase. No regrets. On the fence about opening the amiibos. But we'll see how we go. I just love it, man. Like, I'm a cat person anyway, so I'm kind of maybe projecting on this game a little bit. But who cares, man? It brings me joy. I don't give a stuff. So, yeah, that's Mario. Let me know what you think below if you've played this or on the Wii U. Are you enticed to pick this game up again on the Nintendo Switch? Should you be so inclined? Anyway, next topic is, yes, more Zack Snyder news. I'm going to keep talking about this until the movie comes out. I'm going to do a big review on it, so get over it. If that's not what you like, there's the door. Toodaloos, chap. So we finally have an announcement. Mic drop from Zack Snyder himself on Twitter here. Zack Snyder's Justice League will be worldwide in all markets the same day as in the US on March 18th via on-demand, digital download, linear, don't understand what that means, or streaming. That's just epic, you know. And he continues to say down here, platform availability depends on each territory, blah blah blah. Besides China, France and Japan, they're TBD. Additional details for specific markets will be shared soon. So this blew my mind. I saw this tweet and I'm like, hot damn, this movie just, I mean, Zack Snyder, I know from what he's told fans and discussions that he's had on other podcasts and interviews that he is busting his balls for this movie. You know, he's it's retribution and vindication and all that stuff for him that this is even happening. But for a while there, we just thought this was going to be HBO Max only, you know, and there was a discussion that maybe a cinematic release, but nothing else beyond that. We thought it was just going to live and exist on the HBO Max platform, but now we're seeing, I should probably hide my messages. Now we're seeing that there's a Blu-ray release planned. Now it's on demand, like digital download, blah blah blah. It's just like they admitted they came out, like the executives or people, the powers that be were like, holy crap, we underestimated this. You know, the demand for this was, it exceeds what they projected and expected. And Warner Brothers, or not Warner Brothers, Warner Media and HBO Max, the last few days since they've seen like the results of how many times the trailers were viewed online and, you know, the trending analytics and that kind of stuff, like, holy crap, we need to get this out to everyone. So they've been busting their nut behind the scenes, and now everybody's going to be able to see it almost everywhere. I hope that, I haven't seen any confirmation as far as Australian availability, like for digital downloads or on demand, like Google Play Movies or the Microsoft Store, like where I sometimes rent or buy movies. I haven't seen any details on that, but thankfully, Binge is the service in Australia here that Foxtel owns, which I hate Foxtel. I'm not a fan. Let me just hide my messages again. Not a fan of Foxtel in general. I don't like the service. A lot of it means nothing to me. But when I found out that Binge, which is Australia's streaming service, like, you know, it's the equivalent to Netflix or whatever here in Australia, but it's owned by Foxtel, and a lot of the HBO related content is on Binge, which explains why this announcement has happened. So we are now getting this day and date in Australia. That put me at ease a lot. You know, there was a long time there where we had no idea here in Australia how we were going to be able to watch this movie, and we know now. However, there are some issues with this. Binge is like a undercooked system, or an undercooked option in Australia as far as where you can watch it. So I asked some questions and see if I can get a response. So I subscribed, right? You get a 14-day free trial. I subscribed just to see what was on there and what I'm getting myself into, because I want to watch this movie like so much, and just to see what other kind of content, like DC related stuff, was on there. So I signed on. There's like bugger all DC content on there. They have a section like specifically, I think, anticipating this release, they put a DC station or whatever in the app, like just all for like DC related stuff, but they haven't collated it properly, because you go into that little network spot and it's just some of the newer DC TV shows like Swamp Thing, Stargirl, Batwoman, Watchmen. Missing a couple on here. There's 2 others. Supergirl's on there. The Flash isn't on there. Arrow's not on there. DC Legends of Tomorrow, that's on there. Yeah, but no, there's only 2 movies in this DCEU world. So there's Warner Brothers, Wonder Woman, and Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey, I could live the rest of my life without seeing again. Wonder Woman's great, but that's it. There's no Man of Steel. There's no Batman vs Superman. There's no Suicide Squad. You know, none of all the other ones, like Shazam's not on there. All the other ones. Aquaman's not on there. So I was like, what the hell? And all the animated features aren't on there. There's so much great animated DC content out there that's on HBO Max in America and that used to be on Netflix. So I asked the question, like, is Binge getting all the other DC animated movies like HBO Max says? And they say, might be a bit premature to suggest Binge will get every other DC movie and show, but let's hope so. Okay, I'm glad I got a response at all. Then I ask, oh, they deleted it, I think. Interesting. I don't know if that's just my Twitter or something playing up, but anyway, I did ask the question, is there an app coming to Xbox and PS4 and PlayStation consoles? Right, you can see my question there. There's no Xbox or PlayStation app. Will there be one before this release? And basically they're like, it's only on Samsung TVs and Hisense TVs at the moment, and you need a Google Chromecast. But we have plans. The PS4 app is next on our rollout, and we're aware of Xbox needing one, but we have no release date for that one yet. So basically, it's very selective of where you can get this. You know, you'd imagine that these consoles that have hundreds of millions of consoles out there in the world for Xbox and PlayStation, hell, even Nintendo's got 80 million Switches out there, you know, and PS4 there's like 110 million or something, or 100 million of them out there. You'd imagine they'd be like, all right, we can work with TV manufacturers, but let's get them on these consoles and we can open up the gates to everyone, you know, as many people as we can. So that's why I'm saying I think it's a bit undercooked and underprepared. But hey, we're getting it anyway. I just need to invest. I don't have a smart TV. I've got a projector in my lounge room. So there's no way in hell I'm going to be buying a new TV before this comes out. And I'm just going to have to invest in a Chromecast for a little bit and play it that way. I'll still be able to view it on my massive projector, but yeah, I'm going to be spending $14 for the month to watch it, and then another $80 for the Chromecast. I'm putting my money down to watch this bloody movie, I tell you. After 4 years of, you know, being in the fight with this film, it's the least I could do, I suppose, to get my satisfaction. Anyway, for the Aussie people out there that watch this, I wanted to bring that to your attention. It's all happening, and Mr. Snyder himself, the boss, is busting his balls, and thank him daily. That's why there's a hashtag, thank you Zack Snyder, going around. And further to that, just to show that this isn't really a cul-de-sac like Warner Brothers Pictures is describing, right? Who's that? Who is that tall man in the back there? That is Martian Manhunter, John Johns, or Harry Lennox's character in the DC Universe movies. General Swanwick has been Martian Manhunter this whole time, which was revealed by Zack Snyder last year. And this is the first time, really, of an artistic representation, a clear one that we've seen of the design. So I don't know how much he's going to be in this movie, but that's surprising that we've never seen this before before today or yesterday. So that's the design. And Jim Lee of DC Comics fame, he's the publisher of DC Comics, drew this and shared it to Zack Snyder, and they both, you know, patted their own backs and all that, each other's backs as well. Well done to the team. So this is a variant cover for Justice League 56 coming out. Pretty awesome. And Jim Lee shows a rough draft of a colored version. So this is what Martian Manhunter is going to look like in the movie, which is cool. All we've seen is like really like blurry images on Zack's phone or in the background on a piece of paper printed out in some videos that he's been in, you know, and the logo kind of drawn on a whiteboard. It like hints as to what's coming or what's happening, but this is the first time we've actually legitimately seen his design, and he just looks straight out of the comics. You know, I'm glad they doubled down on it. Like, why not, man? You're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this. Why not just double down on the actual design? Comic accuracy is accepted, you know, in the last decade or so go for it. And so why I mentioned the cul-de-sac comment is because the Warner Brothers executives made a comment in an article in the last couple of weeks ago saying that, you know, they got no plans for more, like, this is a cul-de-sac, it's going to lead to nowhere, you know, blah blah blah. And that's a pretty damning article to be putting out. But then you've got Zack Snyder pulling out all the strings and with the help of HBO Max and Warner Media of going, here's worldwide distribution, it's going to be everywhere, and and you've got DC Comics backing it, making individual here's some more individual covers for the same issue, variant covers. Look how badass these look, man. Like that first one on the left, Jesus, man, I want that. I'd have that on my wall. Even that middle one looks amazing. It's just incredible. It just seems like a lot of effort is going into this for just a one and done, you know? $70 million, here you go, Zack Snyder, finish your movie. And he actually filmed another 5 or 10 minutes worth of stuff of opening it up to the possibility of more, you know, because I think Warner Media and HBO Max, you know, I think they told him to go like, how can we just leave some eggs in there for the potential for more? And Zack's even said so. That's what it's intentional. Like, he's finished the movie, but he also had the opportunity to add something to it, to lead into something. Maybe a potential sequel, you know? It just seems like a lot of effort for just get it done. I don't believe that. I think this is going to be a test bed to see what the reaction is like when the movie actually releases. You know, just to see how the feedback is, how many views it gets, how many watch time minutes. Because that's what these streaming servers are measuring, is watch time minutes. The reason why Wonder Woman got greenlit for a third one is because they had something like 2 billion or something watch minutes, you know, within the first 48 hours or something. I can't remember the exact stats, but it was around that. And they're like, yep, let's just greenlight another one because people obviously want this. And I can just imagine it's going to be the same. This is a 4-hour movie, you know. How are they going to gauge that? You know, I'm sure they'll have their averages and in their analytics to kind of determine that. But I just don't see how this is going to fail. I don't see how they're just going to go, all right, there you go, done. Next, let's just reboot everything, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But you know what I'm saying, all right? You got to understand, I hope, what I'm trying to get across here. It just seems like much to do for nothing, you know? Like, it's going somewhere. I expect something to happen out of all this. If it doesn't, cool. You know, we won. We got the movie released. There's closure there for everybody, all the fans and Zack and his family. Cool, done. Whatever. You know, I'm cool to just wipe my hands and go get delving into something else. You know, just give us more Henry Cavill movies. You know, I want more Henry Cavill Superman. Anyway, that's enough about that for the moment. And what I was talking about more coming down the road just seems to be something odd that I want to kind of tackle here. It's not odd, it's kind of exciting, but I do have to question it at the same time, right? This was announced yesterday. What's today? 21st? Sorry, February 19th in America. So for us, yesterday. We're getting a Supergirl in the DC Universe movies, right? DC Universe's new Supergirl is Young and the Restless actress Sasha Calle will make debut in upcoming Flash film. Okay, so the way I preface this is, man, like, yeah, she's super attractive, cool, that's great. I wonder if she's going to dye her hair, bleach her hair blonde, or is she going to wear a wig? Like, she's a Latina, I don't really care. Like, yes, she's attractive, Supergirl's attractive. You know, Supergirl and Kryptonians are meant to be like peak physical appearance and peak physical strength, and that's just what they are as a race, you know, they're the best of everything. And she fits the bill, even without blonde hair. So, are they going to give her the blonde hair? That's a bit of a topic online lately. Funnily enough, I'm not surprised. People are like, it's racist if they make her bleach her hair, bleh, which I think is absolute horseshit. Like, it's just not. Michael Rosenbaum shaved his head for 10 seasons of Smallville yeah, to play Lex Luthor. Come on, you know? Christopher Reeve had to dye his hair dark because his hair was more sandy brown. So he had to keep dyeing his hair even though he was allergic to it. He had like a rash reaction to it. He had to do it because that's what the character looked like, right? There's nothing wrong about expecting an actor to become the character that they're meant to be depicting. Anyway, why am I making a point about that? Is because people are making a point about that, and it's so dumb. Would I mind if Supergirl Kara Zor-El, if this is the same Kara from the lore, you know, she's coming from an alternate Earth, right? This is the whole Flash movie. It's the multiverse that's happening. Flash is going to run through different dimensions and meet the Michael Keaton Batman, and Ben Affleck's Batman is going to be in it. Cyborg was meant to be in it, but Ray Fisher and his ongoing investigations with Warner Brothers, they dropped him from the movie. So I don't know how long this has been in development for, but it's good to see. I mean, cool. There's a demand for Supergirl. I get it. The TV show is wrapping up in its last season, and this will probably come out to pick up off the heels. So cool. How are they going to do this? Is this a one and done? Is she going to just exist in her own like alternate reality? Is she going to get rolled into the mainline continuity? The multiverse is there. It's going to be a thing. Like this Flash movie, is this going to be a reset? I have a lot of questions around this. I'll get into that in a minute, but let's just see the moment when this was announced to her directly from the director, Andy Muschietti.
Hola.
Hola, Sasha, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú cómo estás?
The truth is that I don't, we still don't have an answer, but I need to ask you a couple more questions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's...
At this point, from what I understand from the Deadline article, she had no idea what she was reading for. She did a chemistry read with Ezra Miller, you know, across like a video call like this. So how many things is Ezra Miller up for right now? I don't know, but it just seems to be like, well, if you knew that Ezra Miller, if you were reading across from him, his next movie that starts filming in April is The Flash. I wonder if she could put two and two together, but I don't know. This is pretty cool.
It's just part of the process.
Yes,
so.
ask them, please. I've been dying over here. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, here it goes. Can you fly?
Can I fly?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you mean, can I fly?
Like fly, like physically.
If you need me to.
Okay.
No, of course not. ¿Cómo así que sí puedo volar? O sea,
All right. Do you want to fly?
yeah, I would love to.
He's pulling it out of her.
Okay. Well, then maybe you will need this. You know what this is?
What?
You're Supergirl.
How cool is that?
Felicitaciones. Muy bien.
Ah, damn buffering. Anyway, you get the idea. That's the reaction that she had, and she got excited about it. Obviously, I should probably stop playing it there anyway because there was the John Williams music coming out the background. Don't want to get a strike. Which is another point that I want to note as to why was that particular score chosen. You know, there's there's a division in Warner Brothers Pictures. This is a Warner Brothers Pictures movie. This isn't a HBO Warner Media thing. So Andy Muschietti watched all the auditions, like 400 girls or something, with Walter Hamada, who hates the fact that the Snyderverse is the thing and that this Zack Snyder's Justice League is happening. He's one of the people that just doesn't want it to happen. So I just have some inklings in the back of my mind of like, yeah, they used the Henry Cavill style suit, but obviously that's probably just a placeholder for whatever, you know, before she gets her own suit. And this Flash movie, I think, is going to just reboot everything. You know, it's just going to be a Flashpoint without being a Flashpoint. You know, it's definitely not the Flashpoint movie that everybody wanted. That would have been spectacularly epic. But anyway, I think the main crux of the Flashpoint movie was it just reset the universe and you went into the new 52 era. So I think what's going to happen is like Ben Affleck's out, whether he comes back and the Snyderverse just exists on HBO Max. But I think the mainline continuity that Warner Brothers Pictures wants to do, I think they want to just get rid of everything, remove themselves from the DC films that have happened already and just start over. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if they do this movie, Henry Cavill's out, this new girl is the new super person in their film universe. There's a new Flash because Ezra Miller's had some controversy. Ben Affleck's out, so they're going to get Michael Keaton in as the old Batman and maybe lean into like a Batman Beyond kind of path, you know, as the old Bruce Wayne mentoring a new future Batman. I think that's how this is going to happen. And if so, like, it's exciting to think about, but I'm going to be so disappointed by that. You know, I'm just with everything that's happened, man, like if Warner Brothers would just butt out, the last 4 years or 5 years, we could have had so many solo films already that they had on the slate, like Cyborg and Flash and Green Lantern alone, Aquaman 2, Man of Steel 2, Justice League 2 and 3. You know, we got the second Wonder Woman film. All of those would have happened in the space of time from 2013 to now, you know? And we've got none of those, basically. So, and then, you know, maybe cool if it wasn't working, you know, if you just ended the Justice League arc and it wasn't ending, then kind of just reboot, you know. I don't know, there's a lot to talk about here. I do have my issues with what's happening, but I have no issue with the Supergirl coming in because she's a big part of the Superman family story, right? Kara Zor-El, she was older than Kal-El. Kal-El left as a baby on planet Krypton. She was already like a young teen of sorts or mid-teen of sorts, being a cousin, and they both left Krypton at the same time. She ended up going into some time anomaly, like some gravitational lensing thing, which made her arrive on Earth some 20 years later or something, when, you know, Kal-El's all grown up, fully grown Superman, he's already experienced. And then she lands and comes out of the pod and is greeted by Superman, a full adult. It's like, oh my God, is that Kal-El? You know, and that whole dynamic is interesting. Like she becomes the little sister almost, young cousin. So it's pretty cool. You know, they both teach each other of like, she's known Krypton, he didn't, but he knows Earth and she doesn't. And that whole mix, it goes really well. And I want to see that. And I want Henry Cavill to be there for it, because Henry Cavill has this kind of innate kind of kindness to him, you know, when he's playing Superman or Clark, you know, in his more tender moments, like you can feel that part of Superman come out, and I want to see that. He can do that, you know, and just Henry Cavill on his own is just naturally like that from interviews, and just, you know, you just see him and he's just like that. But if they just reboot and get rid of everybody, you know, I'm out. You know, I don't have the energy to get as invested in everything all over again. I would rather not, you know. And speaking of rather notting, I don't really have much else I want to add to that or in general. So I don't want to leave this too long. We're going to be under 45 minutes. 45 is the cool spot, but this will be around 40 today, 40 minutes. So I do appreciate you for your time. Like, I know time is valuable, and I do try to make this somewhat enjoyable, and just having a chill out session just to talk about some stuff that stood out to me during the week. Mortal Kombat trailer came out. I wanted to add it to this, but we talked about it at length over at Let's Talk Games. So as I said at the top, there's a link to the Let's Talk Games channel, and we do talk quite a bit about that movie and what we thought about that trailer. So head over there, check it out, subscribe if you'd be so kind. And thanks again for all the new subscribers. You know, hopefully I keep growing. That'd be fantastic. It's just great to see, like, there's a constant number coming back every week. You know, it's like I'm talking to a room. You know, when you look at the numbers, and you know, it's not huge, but I don't really care about that. It's like if I booked a room and I would be able to fill that room for the people that keep coming back each week. That's just how I see it, and it's cool. It's a good feeling to have, and yeah, I appreciate it a lot. Anyway, leave any comments below. If you have any questions for me, leave them there as well, and I can put you on the list for the Ask Chunt at the top of the show. And until then, keep safe and you know, be kind to each other. It's a pretty mad world out there lately, that's for sure. I'm going to go get my beard done. I'm going to go ring this place and ask what the hell happened and to book me in so I can kind of tidy this up a little bit and get on with it. In the meantime, till all are one, may the power protect you and Bumblebee Tuna. Toodaloos!
Like, comment, subscribe.